All right, everybody, welcome to After the Horn. It is Saturday, November 6th. Of course, it's the day before we all fall back. Sabres lose it in overtime to the Red Wings tonight, 4-3. Of course, I've got Andy VanMeer from Buffalo After Dark and our show contributor with us. How's it going?
Oh, it was going good till Tyler Patuzzi once again go and own the paper.
Right. And there was a lot of interesting things in this game. I mean, of course, the bad play with Dahlin was one of them. I mean, there's actually a quick whistle I want to talk about in overtime a little bit later on as well. But we'll just do a quick recap of the game. And, of course, your thoughts and comments are welcome. 929-205-6099 gets you on the air with us. We'll be on until about 10:30 or so. But basically tonight, it was fairly even in terms of the shots on goal. Red Wings 33, Sabres 32. But the Red Wings dominated the faceoffs tonight, 57-43. Sabres were 1 for 2 on the power play. Well, Detroit only was 0 for 1, so at least we stayed out of the box. Basically, from there, the Red Wings out-hit us 13-7, 12 blocks apiece, and the Red Wings actually had more giveaways than the Sabres, so at least, a little bit of something positive there. But, I mean, really the way that this game ended up starting out, first period, 16 seconds in, that was a bad omen right off the bat. Pius Sutter gets his second of the year. Then in the second period at 11:32, Tage Thompson from Skinner and Asplund, and then Dahlin from Butcher and Asplund at 12:36 of the second. So we ended up coming back pretty quickly there, and that was a power play goal. Then the third period, Arttu Ruotsalainen gets on the board, and he ends up at 6:08. He ends up making it 3-1. But then the thing that you were talking about, Andy, Tyler Bertuzzi with the 7th and 8th goals, 13:24 of the third, 14:54 of the third, and that basically made it a totally different ball game right there.
And 4-point night on top of it.
Yeah,
and on every goal.
Assist on the overtime goal too, which was 2:45 left at 2:45 of overtime, and Morris Seider ended up getting it. So.
I mean, it's good to see the young rookie defenseman getting his first goal. Yeah, that was nice to see. But, of course, it always has to happen against the Sabres. I don't know what it is with rookies.
Yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as mine there. I mean, what I would say about this, I mean, overall, I think we played a little bit better than what we did against Seattle the other night. I mean, the things I saw is that offensively, I think we had a little bit more hustle overall, but the problem that we ran into was defense, especially when we got into the third period. And the thing is, it seemed like we ended up getting the lead in the second. We were out hustling the Red Wings at that time, and we just took our foot off the gas.
Well, I want to go back to the first goal that they scored 15 seconds in. Sweeter, whatever you call it, had a good 3-4 whacks at it. The ref didn't blow the whistle. Everybody on the Sabres thought that Tokarski had it. And he just kept whacking away. Next thing you know, hey, it's a goal. And, that was a pretty debatable thing. Like, a lot of people thought he had it. And obviously it didn't go their way. So that was a bad omen to start off that early with that kind of a goal. And then kind of put their sails out for the first period for the most part. And then the second period they got going and they really took over and they were putting around. They got the lead 3-1. And then it just collapsed.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. And another questionable thing that I ended up seeing, especially when we got into the overtime period, is that quick whistle at 3:36. And basically with that, I mean, Tokarski had the puck with his glove, and the ref, and he was clearing it, and the ref blew the whistle. I'm like, ref, why are you stopping it so early? I mean, because the thing I look at on that specific play is he had Drake Caggiula right there. And it would have been an offensive opportunity for us. And literally, the ref stopped it, and he barely held on to the puck.
Yeah, the refs were great today. They kept the whistles away. Like I said, that first goal that Detroit scored was very debatable. I mean, Puisweeder 1, 2, 3. I just watched now. Good 3-4 whacks where Tokarski had it on the line, and where the fuck was the whistle for it? And it never came, and a food goal. And like in the third period, it just became the Tyler Bertuzzi show.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see Dahlin get on the board and give him some confidence that he scored. Paige Thompson's goal was a beauty from Skinner. Dahlin had a nice shot from the point for the power play goal. Little R2, was battling hard in front for the third goal. I mean, it was a very good effort. Like, they took this game on. They had on their heels. And I don't know if it was just a defensive breakdown. I mean, Dahlin getting burned again. Oh, Dahlin getting burned again. Like, I don't know how much longer, going to take for him to keep. I mean, I know Granado said in the beginning of the year when it comes to Dahlin, he's going to let him make his mistakes, and he's going to have to learn from it. But when do you kind of, as a coach, sit back and say, you know what? I need you to take a step back, and I need you to view this from the press box for a game or two, because I need you to really see what's going on here. But the thing is, saying that with Dahlin's press conference just now, I mean, I don't know who asked this question, but they flat out, first question was, you getting one-on-one. What's the problem? I mean, do you know what's going on? So, yeah, I know. I know what's going on, and it's my offside, and I'm working on it, and I'm trying to get better. I mean, I'm glad he owned it. It was a perfect answer, but kid, when are you going to learn?
Right. I mean, you've been in the league for how many years now? I mean, you've been in here for a few years. I mean,
3 years. I mean, come on, kid. I mean, the defensive coach, or I mean, is it coming down to coaching? Like, or is it a mental thing? Like, Bertuzzi just went right around him.
Yeah, I mean, there was like no attempt to stop him.
And I couldn't believe it. Like, this is like 3 or 4 games with his takeoff and the puck. He's getting burned. I mean, he's a shifty player when he's got the puck, but my God, when he's coming back, Jesus, I don't know. Like, for the most part, I think some of it's been his hips and knowing when to turn, and in order to keep the player wide and going wide from the net instead of turning late when puck carrier's already in the zone, cutting in to take a good shot for at least the top circle. He just doesn't turn quick enough, is what I've noticed in the past couple of games. So I don't know what this kid's got to do to fix it. He needs to fix it and fix it fast.
Yeah, I mean, especially since, I mean, he's expected to be a cornerstone of the defense for years to come. I mean, that's just like straight up, I mean, defensive 101. I mean, you need to be able to read the puck. You need to be able to read the play. And I mean, to get burned like that, I mean, that's just unacceptable. I mean, you can't be having that happen, especially 3 years in. Our friend Luffy is actually in the chat. So the first thing he said, Andy, you need better Wi-Fi. The second thing he said is Leafs won again, just saying. And then he said the third thing is Dahlin just needs time. He will get better. A lot of defensemen have the same problem with their offside.
Okay, well, 1, he can kiss my ass. 2, nobody cares about the Maple Leafs. They're never going to make it out of the first round. And, Dahlin's, it's his third year. He's got to learn by now. I mean, how much more coaching does he need to fix this problem?
Right.
I mean, it's getting very costly in these games. You just blew a 3-1 lead late in the third period.
Right. It shouldn't happen.
You made Tyler Bertuzzi just go off. There's no Dylan Larkin. He's gone. He's for personal reasons. Mm-hmm. And this kid just takes over, and we had them on their heels the entire second and half of the third period. But let me go into overtime now. You had that call with the ref. Like, he blew that. I mean, he blew that quick, but I don't know if Karski's choice of playing that, or there was actually a Red Wing pretty close to him when he was trying to deal that puck out. I don't know. It looked close to me.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's questionable. I mean, I would say it was definitely a question.
It is.
And I mean, and really from there, it seemed like a lot of the problems we were running into, odd man rushes again. And really from that point, it was really the third period on. I mean, you have a lead, you can't just play to not lose. You got to play to win it. And especially when you have Detroit, where they're not exactly the best team in the league by any means, you got to keep your. I mean, same thing with the Kraken. I mean, they're not the best team right now, but you have to keep your foot on the gas when you have a 1 goal lead, 2 goal lead, multiple goals. I mean, you have to play that way because you have to go out there and finish the job, and that's one of those things. I mean, that's just not the case in the pros. I mean, that's the case in any level of hockey. You have the lead, you play to win. It's that simple. Why are these guys giving up?
No, it is that simple. But the thing is they're relying right now, at least in this game, for guys like Paige Thompson and Rasmus Asplund to be, the fishers. And right now, when you don't have Dylan Cousins buzzing right now, he had a decent game, but I mean, he needs to come alive and he needs to take charge. Milstad's out, Olson's out. Those are two guys that can play on the overtime and have good chances to finish. And just, I mean, they're relying on Tage and Asplund to finish that in overtime. And Tage almost did. He took the puck to the net. He just
Good
lost
opportunity.
control at the end. And it went back the other way. Now going back the other way is another controversy with, the puck carrier jumping off the cider. As he's going off, he still should have been in too many men on the ice, but the refs didn't make that call, and that was another debatable thing. And it, another 10 seconds later, Sider puts it in, even 5 seconds. Splin, bounced off him off the boards, and he took it right to the net. So I mean, so many things kind of went Troy's way in the beginning and at the end. So that's where we stand.
Yeah, very true. I mean, and it's one of those things. I mean, we still have a whole lot of the season left to go. So I mean, I mean, I'm kind of thinking, with how we've started so far, I'm thinking it's fairly similar with where I was thinking we would probably be at this point. I mean, yeah, we're going to have losses. We're going to have some epic losses this season, but at the same time, I mean, I think as a group, I mean, they're playing a little bit better than what I would have thought. So, I mean, it's not all that bad. And now with the distraction of Jack Eichel completely gone, with him being traded just the other day, which we'll talk about that in a moment also. I mean, I have to think now at least, that's off everybody's back. You can just focus on winning. And of course, with players that are coming into the organization, I mean, there is some upside to look at.
Oh, there is. I'm not worried about that. The future is going to be bright. Hopefully, I hope. But as of right now, I mean, they're still playing well. I mean, I know they kind of have a slow start, quick, got dagger in early. I don't know if it's because of coming off that West Coast trip. He had half ago being home. You got to play another game. Just coming back from the West Coast, I want to say that might have kicked into it in the beginning. The first period, they're kind of flat in some ways. And but they got their heads back in the game and they took over. They were hardworking, they were buzzing, they were getting shots, they were creating chances. Nedeljkovic made a couple good saves.
And Tokarski was pretty good tonight, all things considered.
Oh yeah, Tokarski.
Really nice saves.
Tokarski played out of his mind. I mean, once again, he played really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the scoreboard doesn't reflect his play, but I mean, I got to give credit to Nedeljkovic. I mean, he robbed Skinner early, on a one-timer. I mean, yeah, they had their chances. Some of them weren't buried, and it just kind of sucks. Bertuzzi's a saber killer. It's like another Alfredson, towards the Sabres, and he once again took over, and I can't believe it. Even rookie Lucas Raymond had a couple of points tonight too. I mean, they play well.
Very true. If you guys want to get on, 929-205-6099 gets you on with the both of us. And Luffy actually had a couple other comments. So he basically said that I need to learn how to take the body and not the puck. He also said probably make Dell your starter. That would solve a lot of problems. Oh my God.
Listen. Just because he got brought up today because someone's injured, I swear to God, if he gets a game, I swear to God, I may not watch that because that's
I probably wouldn't either. Oh,
I mean,
man.
I'll keep the Karski going for as long as it takes for Anderson to get back, and it's only day to day,
right?
I hear. So
yeah, and Tokarski is absolutely the better of the two.
Oh yeah,
in terms of the backups there, and then
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, and then Luffy also said, "I'm listening, Linda." Shut up, Luffy. If you want, call the show. Jump on.
Yeah, shut up, Linda. Listen, I don't know. It was a good game. They had it. They lost it. They fucked up.
Yeah. It's that simple.
But something's got to happen with Darlene. Like he's got to kick it in high gear and really fix this issue because this has been happening more and more than it should be happening. And I mean, like you said, he's a cornerstone of this team. You know, you're paying him $6 million now. He's not really playing like a $6 million player. And you know, someone's got to give defensively. Like he's really got to figure out. Yeah, I mean, he says he knows what's wrong. Like, well, fix it, motherfucker, because it's costing us games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And one of the things we'll also do is, we're going to do a quick around the NHL, and then I want to talk a little bit about the Jack Eichel trade, and this was a big thing we talked about on the show the other night, actually. But basically, with where we're at today in the NHL, I mean, a few games on tap. So, of course, as we covered, I mean, we ended up losing. Right now, Coyotes are losing to the Kraken 2-1. Also, the Rangers and Flames are tied. Devils and Sharks, that's going to come up at 10:30. The Tampa Bay Lightning actually get a win. They ended up beating the Senators 5-3 today. Hurricanes and Panthers, well, the Hurricanes lost 5-2. Islanders ended up beating the Jets 2-0. Of course, as you know, the Red Wings beat the Sabres in overtime 4-3. And then Bruins and Maple Leafs ended up, Bruins ended up losing 5-2. Also, one of the other things that came up, Golden Knights versus the Canadiens. Canadiens lost 5-2. Penguins, it went to a shootout. They ended up losing to the Wild 5-4. Capitals lose to the Flyers 2-1. And the Blue Jackets beat the Avalanche 4-2. So big game, big day of games here in the NHL today. And then a few on tap tomorrow. So it'll be interesting. But the Red Wings are going to have no time to rest up because they play the Golden Knights tomorrow night. So it's like, get ready for interesting matchup on that one.
Yeah, I hope they lose.
Same here. So, yeah. So, of course, the big thing that happened, and we actually went live on Thursday night with Buffalo After Dark when the Jack Eichel trade happened, and this was actually big news that came out early Thursday morning. But basically, Jack Eichel was traded to the Golden Knights. In return, we ended up getting Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, first round pick in 2022, which is top 10 protected. Third round pick in 2023. So, I mean, I have to say, in terms of the actual return, considering that we're not retaining salary and considering that the Golden Knights are going to let Eichel get his surgery, which will happen next Friday, I'm not disappointed with the return. Honestly, I mean, we got the equivalent, basically, I would say 3 first-round assets, and, probably considering what other teams are throwing out there. I mean, it turned out the whole Kachuk thing was fake, but it turned out that, I don't think it's a bad deal, honestly.
No, I've always liked Alex Tuch. I've been following him since he was drafted by the Wild. He had headlines with his I think it was a rookie camp goal that he made. It was pretty crazy of a goal. That's how I actually really noticed him. And he's a big. If you watch a lot of his highlights and a lot of his goals, I mean, the kid's phenomenal. He's like Alexander McGill, except he's a lot bigger. He's like, I think 6'4", 220. He's a big power forward,
He's
but
around there, yeah.
he's skilled, he's fast, he can shoot them, he can snipe. I mean, I could see, I mean, he takes it to the net. I don't see any of these players really doing that this team right now. So I mean, it's an element that this team needs, and I can't wait till he gets, healthy and ready to go, and they're however long he's left.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and Tuck shouldn't be out too much longer because I mean he had the shoulder injury, but same thing. I mean, he was a good part of the Golden Knights, and I mean, especially with the contributions he was able to put forward in his time there. I think he's going to fit in pretty well, and he has that gritty style of play that I don't think we've really had in a while. So I mean, that'll be a big help. And then especially being able to get Peyton Krebs, if he can develop down in Rochester and he's able to play lights out. I mean, that's really one of the big prospects I was looking for in return, and I'm glad we were able to get him as part of the deal.
Oh yeah, you got to feel good about it. I mean, this kid's got a good two-way game. He's compared to Ryan O'Reilly. I mean, you watch some of his highlights from the WHL and Team Canada. The kid plays a very solid game. Couldn't be more. There's a reason he was the big centerpiece that Kevin Adams wanted for this trade. I mean, there's a reason for it. And, he's not like he's small. He's 6 foot, 185. He brings some good size. So, let him develop, let him learn how things are done here. I don't even care. I mean, if he can get games later on this year, sure, fine. But let him play down there with those kids.
Yeah.
Let them play lights out like they are right now. And hopefully next year they'll be good to go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let him play some games with Peterka. Let him play with Jack Quinn down there. I mean, and you have to feel that Peterka and Quinn, I mean, probably after the end of the season, they're probably going to be getting some games up here, or if not even later this season. But I mean, they've been playing really well down in Rochester now, and especially adding Krebs into the mix. I mean, those are 3 really strong guys that we have in the system that absolutely can make the jump. And I mean, that's just going to further add to the core. I mean, and I think looking back at this trade, I mean, I saw some of the interviews that Eichel had. I mean, there's no question he wanted to be out of here. And a lot of what was brought up, and I think John Tortorella had an interesting comment the other day, and he mentioned that he thinks Vegas is going to be a better scene for him because he'll be able to further develop and finally become a leader. I don't think he was ever captain material for this team, honestly. That was Ryan O'Reilly, and the fact that O'Reilly got forced out of here, I mean, that I still don't like how that whole thing went down. But I think Eichel's got to understand his place, and the bottom line was, I mean, he needs to finally develop that team side of himself, and I think he's more about himself and not everybody else. And especially when Andrew Peters goes on the air and talks about how he only talked to a few people in the locker room and basically it was just all about himself, it gets rid of a locker room cancer, which is not a bad thing. It's addition by subtraction in this case. Whereas the new guys we have in here, like Cousins, and of course, we have our new younger core that's here. I mean, they've all played together. They're all about working together, and it's really building a better culture in this sense. So I look at it in the sense where it's similar to what the Bills did when they got rid of Marcel Darius and they got rid of all their high priced players, and they rebuilt pretty quickly. I think that this is, I don't fault Kevin Adams for waiting this long to make the trade, and I don't fault him for taking that approach.
No, I don't either. GMs come in and they have their plan. They present their plan and, they stick to this plan and they want to see it through. And, it's about making the right signings, the right trades, finding the right people to fit your system. It all goes into it. And Kevin Adams, I mean, a lot of people like some of the moves he's done. I mean, most I have. I love what they've been draft wise. Like they are stocking the cupboards. This past draft they went, ape shit on forwards. Had a bunch of Russian kids. I mean, they got a lot of different types of youngsters in this pool now, and they had to build it back up again. And I liked what they've been doing. The scouting department's been doing their job, and they've been doing their homework. Like I said, JJ Paterka was a steal. He's gonna be a steal. This kid's gonna be amazing. I think.
Yeah.
I cannot wait till he's up and running here. I mean, even in Rochester and his highlights, like this kid is just flying everywhere. He's making plays. He's scoring goals. This kid is a gem.
Yeah.
He just needs to work out his defensive game. He'll be good to go. So
yeah, and
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I definitely liked a lot of what I saw with him, especially with the rookie scrimmage and especially with the preseason. I mean, he has a great future ahead of him. And actually, our Rochester reporter Jeremy McBeth jumped on here, who covers the Amherst for us, and he said he was at last night's game. He was very impressed with Peyton Krebs. He thought he played really well for just getting thrown into a lineup and no practice. So what does that tell you? Krebs has a lot of good things.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy, for giving us that insight, because I want to know more what he sees if he's at these games and he sees more of what I see, but just highlights. I mean, keep it coming, man. Thank you for doing what you do down in Rochester for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy, we got to get you on some of these shows sometime soon too, because I know we've been talking about it for a little while. But I mean, you're at the Amherst games, and I know you cover a lot of stuff for us. So first, thanks for doing that for all this time that you've been with us too.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier more than having a guy down there, giving us the scoop of what we're not seeing, except for goal highlights that they show.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see what he thinks and his point of view and what he's seen from these players, and go down the line and see how these prospects are doing, because we're going to be relying on them in these years to come. So
for sure.
Once again, thanks Jeremy for that, and anything you need to inform us about, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Jeremy, you've got the open invite anytime on any of our shows, actually. So, but what we should do, actually, we should get you on after the horn one of these days on a Wednesday night, just to talk a little bit about the Rochester Amherst and, just some of the stuff you're seeing down there. So if you have some time and you want to come on next Wednesday, by all means, feel free. You're more than welcome to. So with that, it's like we're pretty much, it's always fun. It's like how the half hour goes by so quick on this show. But I was going to say before we get going, Andy, do you have any other things you want to throw in, or any other comments about tonight?
Well, it was good to listen to Alex Tuck's press conference about being traded. We all know he's a Syracuse kid growing up next to Tim Connolly, big Sabres fan, dream come true, all that. I mean, this is a kid who I think has been missed with his skill set, is missed badly on this team. We think highly of Paige Thompson as he grows, and he's getting better and better. But you look at his skill set and what he can do. What he's done in the playoffs. I mean, this guy is fantastic. I mean, this is a power forward I've been wanting for a while, and I just can't wait to see him get going. But this team's going to keep plugging away. I mean, giving their effort every game. Certain players need to fix some things. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
And they just need to keep plugging away. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can ask of us. Just hard work and hopefully pull some games out, like they were doing, like Granato said in his conference for the game tonight. They seem to have lost their game after Anaheim. So hopefully they get back on track, which for the most I thought they did. They really didn't play bad. They just had a meltdown in the later half of the third. So
Yeah, very true. And it was an improvement over the Seattle game too, because I mean, I think the Seattle game they were really flat like across all three periods, and I mean,
Oh
just
God, they just got outworked.
yeah, I mean, there's no
Brandon
doubt about that.
Brandon Tanev was like shot out of a missile. Like that, Brandon Tanev was like on Rice on everybody. I could
Yeah.
like I knew it was fast, but God, he's like a fucking jet plane. Like he's on everything. I mean, he had what
Yeah.
2 or 3 breakaways of his own.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
And he's rushing people
unbelievable.
in the corners and everything too. I mean,
Yeah,
and he's not afraid to drop the gloves and fight. And I mean,
no,
Tanev, he's like one of those players. I would love to have that type of player here. And then
oh God, he would be perfect.
yeah, he would be a perfect setup. And then I mean, you look at Vince Dunn, and then you look at Vince Dunn, you look at Morgan Geeky's been playing well. You've got the Fleury brothers. I mean, Seattle, they're just not getting the wins, but they're playing well. So I mean, the wins will come for them. And I mean, and honestly, it's nice to see that there's another team out in the West now. But a couple last comments. Joe Bach basically he mentioned on the scorecard we had up earlier about how about the too many men on the ice call in OT. We talked about that. And then Anthony William Skisser ended up mentioning maybe they shouldn't have blown a 3-1 lead. Well, yeah, we already covered that too. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
end up losing tonight, but I mean, it was better overall.
sure they get the point.
Yeah, still get the point. So,
I mean, the effort was there. I don't know. Dowling's got to work on some things. The reffing was subpar in my eyes in the beginning and in the end. Yeah. I mean, it was just one of those fluky games, I guess you could say. But at the same time, you know, it's over, and you got a player like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes a long way.
Very
and
true.
You don't have Jack anymore, and Jack's that type of player who could take over games. But he's not here anymore, and you're kind of looking for that kind of kid that's going to take over now. So we'll see what the group that we have and the group going forward. Who's going to take the reins.
Yep,
and become finishers. Like I said, they're relying on Tom last night. They're relying on Asplin. That whole line. Like once again, I saw Skinner out on in overtime. I'm like, oh God, no, not again.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner overtime. You know what happened last time? He was on the ice. He's just skating around like nothing mattered.
Right, and got to be able to finish those games, and that's going to be really the big thing we look at. So of course, everyone that ended up watching, thanks for being on tonight. And of course, we'll be doing this more often now that the Sabres are actually back home from the West Coast trip. So of course, Andy, thanks for jumping on. Jeremy Macbeth, last comment. He ends up saying we should come out for an Amherst game. You know what? I may take you up on that actually. Let me know where and when, and I might take the ride out. So we'd be happy to do it. Hell, we'll get you on the air from Blue Cross maybe. We'll figure that out. So Eddie, thanks for jumping. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
So yeah, thanks for jumping on again. Appreciate it. Everyone who commented, thanks for doing so. And then in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, guys. We'll see you next time.
After the Horn is an H&H Studio production. Produced in association with Horns and Hooves Entertainment.